Hello students of class 9. See, this is your English literature textbook, Treasure Trove, a collection of ICSE poems and short stories. In the last video, I was teaching short stories, story number 4, Hearts and Hands. Now today, I am going to start next story, means story number 5, A Face in the Dark, written by Ruskin Bond. Let's see the story. See, this is the story number 5, A Face in the Dark, written by Ruskin Bond, on page number 73. See, this is the picture of story writer and see Ruskin Bond. Let's see, first of all, we will discuss about the story writer Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, an Indian author of British descent, is a prolific writer whose works are popular with adults and children alike. In the following story, writer Ruskin Bond relates a thrilling incident set among the picturesque hills around Simla. Ruskin Bond's fascination with the paranormal finds expression in the paranormal finds expression in the Makbari tales, right? Here, Mr. Oliver, a school teacher, is on his way back to school late one night, when he meets a strange boy. The encounter fills him with terror, and he takes to his heels, only to discover that there is no escape for him. Ruskin Bond makes skillful use of all the elements of a horror story: fear, surprise, suspense, and mystery to explore humanity's collective fascination with the dark. Right? Let's see. Before starting the text, let's see about the story, a brief summary, what the story is, right? A Face in the Dark is the story that is set in a pine forest outside Simla, right? It revolves around Mr. Oliver, an Anglo-Indian teacher. Mr. Oliver was an Anglo-Indian teacher. He was returning to his school late one night on the outskirts of the hill station of Simla. The Simla Bazaar was about 3 miles from his school. He took a shortcut and was returning through the pine forest. He carried a torch with him. There he saw a figure of a boy in the light of the torch. He found him sitting alone on a rock. He stopped there. He went closer to the boy in order to recognize him and said, "What are you doing out here, boy?" The boy appeared to be crying. His head hung down and held his face in his hands, and his body shook convulsively. It was a strange soundless weeping. Mr. Oliver felt uneasy. He asked the boy to tell him his trouble and look up. The boy looked up and took his hands from his face and looked up at his teacher. The light from Mr. Oliver's torch fell on the boy's face. It had no eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. It was just a round, smooth head with a school cap on top of it. He got frightened, and the torch fell from his trembling hand. He turned and ran towards the school building and called for help. He stumbled up to the watchman, gasping for breath. He told the watchman that he had seen something horrible, a boy weeping in the forest, and he had no face. He had no eyes, nose, mouth, nothing. The watchman raised his lamp to his own face. The watchman had no eyes, no ears, no features at all, not even an eyebrow. And that's when the wind blew the lamp out. It was a supernatural story, and Ruskin Bond makes the supernatural look natural. Mr. Oliver has a strange experience while he is passing through the pine forest at night. He sees a boy sitting on a rock at night on the narrow path. He fancies that the boy has no eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. He gets frightened and runs towards the school building. It is the creation of his own mind. His mind is so gripped with fear that he fancies that the watchman whom he meets has no eyes, no ears, no features at all, not even an eyebrow. All this makes the story supernatural. Clear? See story. Students, this story is very interesting and very supernatural things it has. It's very nice when you will read the story. See the plot here, what the plot is. First of all, Mr. Oliver, an Anglo-Indian teacher in a school, visits to Simla Bazaar and spends an evening there, takes a shortcut route and walks through the pine forest. Mr. Oliver comes across a boy in the forest who has no eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. Gets frightened, runs towards the school building and cries for help. He stumbled up to the watchman, gasping for breath. He fancies that the watchman has no eyes, no ears, no features at all, not even an eyebrow. Right? This is the plot. Now let's see what the theme of the story. What the theme? Here, A Face in the Dark is a supernatural story, and the writer makes the supernatural look natural by his artistic skill. It is set in a pine forest outside Simla, right? Simla situated in Himachal Pradesh. Clear? It revolves around Mr. Oliver, an Anglo-Indian teacher. Mr. Oliver has a strange experience while While he is passing through a pine forest at night, he sees a figure of a boy in the night, in the light of a torch. He stops because he thinks that boys are not supposed to be out after dark. He moves closer to the figure in order to recognize him. The boy appears to be crying. It is a strange, soundless weeping. Mr. Oliver feels uneasy. He becomes tense and gets upset. He asks him why he is crying. The boy neither answers nor looks up. Mr. Oliver again asks him to look up. When he looks up, Mr. Oliver fancies that the boy has no eyes, ears, nose, or mouth. It is just a round, smooth head with a school cap on the top of it. He gets frightened and runs towards the school building. It is the creation of his own mind. His mind is gripped with fear. Everything there appears to be strange, mysterious, and supernatural. Mr. Oliver stumbles up to the watchman, gasping for breath. He is so frightened that he fancies that the watchman whom he meets has no eyes, no ears, no features at all, and not even an eyebrow. All this makes the story supernatural, but Ruskin Bond's supernatural is neither frightened nor horrifying. Neither frightening nor horrifying. Clear? Okay, students, now as I think whatever I have taught in this video is clear to all of you, and very soon in the next video I will start your textbook. Okay.